Okay, this is day 38 of making little videos of me as a human with schizophrenia, practicing being on camera as a life skill. Uh, I think you can skip ahead 2 minutes. I do a little intro every day to explain that I am a sane person, even though I'm diagnosed with schizophrenia, and these videos are about expressing sanity. I came to the realization while writing my book that if I was going to explain myself to other people or describe myself, I would describe myself as a person that experiences schizophrenia, uh, and that it is a reality to be experienced, and much of the experience can be explained to coming into contact with systems and operations that use highly advanced technology and operations or modern. I am now a brain damaged author. I am just a one time semi activist who is finishing a book on political surveillance technology in society and psychological operations. I am also writing a little bit in there, the book about my own political or my own thought processes. Not all of it's political, but some of it just thought process that could have potentially got me targeted in the first place. This targeting is described as the targeted individual by many people. In day 17 of these videos, I describe why I choose to describe myself as a schizophrenic instead of targeted individual. This targeting has resulted in my brain functioning in a schizophrenic manner. I'm actually the recipient of political warfare, what NATO calls cognitive war, and what the Indian Chief of Intelligence refers to as neurostrike weaponry. This is a Chinese terminology to describe their neurological weapons, and I just say that America has these weapons as well. And this has resulted in me having a characteristic, functioning that brain that has a characteristic of schizophrenia, and it is more an experience coming into contact with the classified or underworld section of reality. Okay, that one was a little jumbled, but if you read the other, if you watch the other videos, you can get the same intro, and the other ones it's a little bit better. All right, today I was going to talk about the Lakers because I have to talk about sports. Otherwise, if I don't talk about sports, they say I don't like sports, and they come up with all these other weird ways to try to control me. And in sports, I was listening to a commercial, and it kept saying the Beatles needed to squash the beef or whatever. It was a beef commercial, and it made me think of like squashing beef or like the Lakers and Dwight Howard. Maybe the Lakers could get Dwight Howard, but they're talking about getting all these centers. They're talking about Miles Turner, Nikola Vucevic. And I'm not sure who I prefer between Miles Turner and Nikola Vucevic because Vucevic has some pretty good skill. Turner's pretty good. Uh, but I think I prefer Vucevic because you could possibly get Lonzo too. And Vucevic may fit with us, as a stretch five, and he's he moves pretty decently, and I don't know. It's hard to say really, but then they're talking about Walker Kessler, and actually the Utah Jazz just moved Isaiah Collier into the starting lineup. I just read that, so potentially there's other players you could trade for. Maybe there. I don't know if they'll trade Keontae George, but if they got him coming off the bench, I don't know. But they have so many guards there in Utah, but they're not happy with any of them, I guess. I don't know. So, but Utah, Danny Ainge will never trade with the fucking Lakers, I guess. I don't, maybe bury the hatchet, squash the beef. Okay, so in other sports news, I was reading in my, not news, but in other sporting things, I was reading in my Katie Ledecky book about how she started training in Florida and for the Paris Olympics. She after the Tokyo Olympics, I guess in 2021, I think that was. She went to Florida to train with a guy called Nesty. I don't remember the guy's last name. It's in my book. I just read it this morning, so it's not really registering. And this gentleman was the sole Olympic gold medal winner from his country, and I think the country is Suriname, or I don't know how to say the name of the country, but he won a gold medal in I think the breaststroke or butterfly, I think it was in 1988. And he would train all the swimmers in Florida. And Katie Ledecky wanted to train with the kind of got into like the idea of training with the men, and it actually improved her time. She in Indianapolis in 2023 before the Paris Olympics. It was her best time in the 800 then she had since the Rio Olympics in 2016. So the best time in 7 years that she had after training with all the people in Florida. So that was cool to see. That you think like you're hitting a plateau as you age, and then you're like, no, you have some more in you still. I could borrow that as a little fat man in my house, and I'm doing my little dance now when I exercise every day now. And I don't know if my knees are gonna hold up, but it's kind of practice for pickleball when I do pickleball. And all right, so uh, you know, I talked a little bit in other sections. Speaking of Florida and hurricanes and stuff, I talked in my other sections of books or whatever, or my not books, other section of these videos about the idea that weather warfare and like wind manipulation is real, and that HARP and stuff. I referred to this book, Planet Earth: New Weapon of War by Rosalie Bertell, a scientist nun who wrote a book about the weaponization of the planet. And that book is, by the way, 25 years old, so a lot has happened since then. And uh, if we really are having these interregional or global or splinter group civil wars in the United States of weather warfare or whatever motive is going on, it needs to stop, because it's just going to escalate and get more and more worse for everybody living in their respective regions. Obviously, we need to stop polluting the earth too. Uh, we need to start uh, acting as if the earth is granting us the right to live on earth and we're not granting earth's right to exist. So we have to comply with the earth, and the earth doesn't necessarily need to comply with civilization. So I said that in the other one, but like we need to comply with earth. Okay. All right. In my other book, Forever Strong, it is about eating proteins and getting strong and stuff. And in that book, I didn't realize this because she talks so much in the beginning chapters of the book about proteins, and I think she even talks about fats, but like she talks about proteins, particularly animal proteins. And it's very important to her that you eat animal proteins because they have particular amino acids. I don't necessarily think you need animal proteins. You can see there's vegan bodybuilders all over the place. And personally, if I had my way and I wasn't being controlled with another section of the society, I would probably eat meat very limitedly. Uh, just the only reason why I grew up eating like chicken burritos, so like I there's so many good chicken burritos out there at restaurants or whatever that I would want to eat that, and it's like a selfish, it's really terrible, but But if I had my own way, I'd probably be vegetarian and I wasn't being controlled. Uh, maybe for the most part, I think I would. And I was living on my own, but living here, there's a lot of meat around, so it's a little bit like that. But in any event, this book called Forever Strong, she talks about like calories are important. She does ascribe to calorie counting, and she does ascribe to carbohydrates. She thinks you should eat no more than 50 grams of carbohydrate per meal, and that so that leaves you at like 150 probably for a day or something, maybe with some snacks, and or maybe less or whatever. But uh, she prefers carbs to fat, which is kind of interesting because she's really into like the animal meats and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. She said like she doesn't ever ascribe or prescribe uh increasing fats to people's diets. She usually you get a lot of protein, and then after you eat the protein, she prefers carbohydrates adding to a diet than fats because you can get into trouble with like the particular kind of fats that you eat. In separate book, this video today is not very good. uh, in my separate book, We Are Electric, it talks about the neurocode, and in that book, it it discusses ECoG, which is a new type of technology that was developed in more recent times to read people's brains and discover what's going on inside people's brains and stuff. And what I know is that I tell you that I experience mind reading and stuff, and there was even a University of Texas experiment where there was a machine that read people's minds. Uh, what are those CAT scan machines or whatever you get? I don't know. I can't remember but that stuff can read your mind. They discovered this or whatever, and people's minds have been read at Texas where they put it in text in real time, and they always said it was too slow, like the machines were too slow, but they're actually not. And University of Texas actually translated people's mind thinking into text, and so it's out there. That's why it's like there's like terrorist attacks and stuff like that. Like the government at the highest levels know what's going on at all times, and you wonder who else knows and who doesn't. And so yeah. In Matthew McConaughey's book, he describes his parrot or his dad saved the life of a bird named Lucky. And Matthew McConaughey was saying that if you believe in luck, you believe in God. And I always say, like, I want the aliens to help me win the lotto. And I think the aliens are the gods. So maybe I believe in God because I want to be lucky. And I think that maybe they might help me win the lotto. I don't know, but I want God. Basically, I believe in God because I believe in luck every time I play the lotto. So, hey, that's God. I think God's kind of psycho, but I think there's potentially other gods in the universe that are greater than him, like the Gnostic idea, and maybe they want to fix. I should be able to sue the fucking government for tons of money because of what they did to me. They tortured me and did all that, but maybe God can make me win the lotto. In any event, I'm gonna instead probably work at a store and be happy with that. So, but anyways, lucky. If you believe in luck, you believe in God, and that's what Matthew McConaughey says. So, yeah, I guess I do believe in God. I just don't worship him, but I'll take some of the luck every now and then from God. Okay, that was my talk.